y'all, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this really cute Christmas snowman diorama. I apologize for this bright light spot here, but you know, my filming lights are insanely bright. But anyway, here's the inside just to give you a better look. Stay tuned and I'll show you how to make it. Alrighty, y'all, let us get started. So first off, what you are going to need: 2 of these little fishbowl things from the Dollar Tree. They do have 2 different sizes. This one is the larger one and this one is the small one. I'm going to use the larger one for the body and the smaller one is going to be on top of there for his little head. Now, if you want to use 2 or even more for the body, that is your thing, you do that. But for me, I just wanted to use the 2. So you're going to need that, and then you're going to need something for the decorations on the inside. Now, you can use whatever you like, but I have a ton of little things from my Christmas village, and I buy, you know, these packs of the individual little guys like this. I have this, and I have a Santa, I have some kids. So I don't know exactly what I want to put in there, but I'm leaning towards this maybe, I don't know. So you're going to need some decorations. You're also going to need some of this fake snow, faux snow. This is from Dollar Tree. Now they have 2 different sizes of this. The little balls, pellets, they have bigger ones, and then they have the smaller ones like this. And then some of this faux snow that looks more like the shredded up holographic paper type deal here. So I have some of that. You're also going to need some type of glue. Now, if you don't want to glue these together, that's fine. But if you're like me and you have cats, dogs, and feral children running around, they might bump it and knock it everywhere. So I glue mine together. If you don't want to glue yours, once again, that is fine. And then you're going to need a little hat to go on top. This little hat came from the Dollar Tree last year, but you know, they have these every year. So I'm reasonably certain that you're going to be able to find these all over the place again this year once they start putting things out. So anyway, this part is going to be relatively simple. I'm going to fill it up with the snow, and then I'm going to put the little decorations in there. Or I might just glue them down to the bottom and then sprinkle the snow around them. Don't know yet. But for the head part, I'm going to paint this with some Mod Podge. I'm going to put some glitter, and then I'm going to use a little bit of white paint because I want this part to be solid. So I have here my Mod Podge. This is this plain old gloss Mod Podge. And I'm going to pour some in. I'm trying to pour some in. Bloop. And then I'm just going to swirl it around in there. Now, if you remember, I did a video a while back on making the glittered ornaments with polyacrylic. If you want to do it that way, you know, more power to you, but that does take a pretty good long time to dry. You just pour your polyacrylic into your bowl here, swirl it around, and then let it drain out, and then put your glitter in. But for this, because I'm going to be going back in with some acrylic paint, I'm just going to use this Mod Podge. So the Mod Podge will dry clear, and then I'll come back with the white paint and go over it once this is dry. Alright, so I'm just swirling it around in there, and I think I've got a pretty decent coat. So let's get that out of the way. Now I'm going to, I thought I had a piece of paper here. Apparently not. Anyway, let's dump the glitter in there. Here's a piece of paper. It's a dirty piece of paper, but it's still a piece of paper. And I'm just going to swirl this glitter around a little bit to make sure that it gets all stuck down to the Mod Podge. And then I'm going to set it off to the side to dry. And then once it dries, like I said, I'm going to go back in with some white acrylic paint. Probably take 2 coats with the acrylic paint. There we go. Just set that over there. Why did I use a piece of paper? So that I can pick it up, hopefully without making a huge mess, and pour my glitter back into my container. There we go. All right, let's put that over there. All right, so now for the bottom part. Take the label off so that the label police don't come after you. Oh yeah, take the label off. You know, you do you, I'll do me. But yeah, what I'm going to do is, excuse me, I'm going to go through my box over here of my little decorations because I'm still not decided yet. And then when I pick out what I finally want to use, we'll come back and we're going to put the bottom part together. Okay, so I'm going to use the Santa here. As you can see on Santa, because his boots are going to be so close to the bottom there, and once you put the snow in, it's going to cover all that up. I just glued this little piece of foam to the bottom of it just to give him a little bit of height. So now for our trees. I have one of these taller ones and two smaller ones, and this one is just a tad bit too tall for this. But I want to use this one. So I'm going to take these raggedy scissors here and see if I can't trim off just a little bit of that top there. I think that works just fine because that was mostly the little fuzzies and not the actual metal part. Metal! Let's see. That'll work just fine. So now I'm just going to take the hot glue and put a big old blob on the bottom here. And we're going to stick that down. We're going to get glue on our paintbrush. That's what we're going to do. Just going to stick that down. And then we're going to take the small ones and do the same thing. Stick that there. It looks pretty good. Stand up. And then let's do that with this other one. I said, don't worry about all these big old blobs of glue, because you know what? You're not going to see them. They're going to be covered up with the snow. Oh, let's get that little string out. All right, now for Santa, I'm going to put a big old blob of glue on that styrofoam, fluorofoam, whatever you want to call it. It's all foam. And let's just stick that down right there. I'm pressing down pretty hard on that because I really want it to adhere to the bottom so that he don't fall off. Because like I said, I'm going to be gluing the head to the body here for me. So I don't want him to fall off. All right, so there's that. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the snow in here so that we can get that out of the way. And then this is still not quite dry yet. I'm getting ready to make a mess. I know I am. So I'm going to put some of this in here. A little at a time. It's easier to put more in than it is to try to scoop this stuff out. Why are you in my tree? All right. Now I want to put some of this sparkly kind in. And once you open these, please store them in a Ziploc bag or something. You wouldn't believe the messes I've made with this stuff. All over the floor. All right, so why am I mixing these two together? Just to get a little bit of a different look. Oh, poor Santa. I'm sorry. I had a popsicle stick somewhere. There we go. Did I put too much? No, I didn't. There we go. That looks good. Okay, just kind of mix it up a little bit so that that glitter stuff and like the foam stuff kind of mixes together. It creates dimension. All right. I have a dry paintbrush over here. Let's see if we can't scrape some of this stuff down off the side. There we go. There we go. All right, so that part's done. So now what I'm going to do is, once this dries, I'm going to take some of the white acrylic paint and I'm going to do, like I said, a couple coats to make sure that this is nice and covered. And then we're going to glue this to this. All right, my friends, so this little face here is dry. His little head, rather. And I did put 2 coats of the white acrylic paint on the inside of this on top of the Mod Podge and glitter. So for his little face here, why did I not paint this on camera? Because when I paint things, I hold it down in my lap, you know, so I can really get in there and paint it. And sitting here at the table, my arms are kind of outstretched. But all I did is I just took a paintbrush and I painted on his little nose with some of this orange chalk paint. And then the rest was black acrylic paint. And then for the highlights on his eyes, I just used some white acrylic paint. That's all that I did. Nothing special. But anyway, now what we're going to do is get that glitter. Look, see, this stuff just sticks everywhere. Like I said, I'm going to glue mine on. And I have some of this, if I can get it here, like the E6000, but this is from Gorilla brand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this Gorilla Glue and I'm going to put just a few dots around it. That's going to hold it together in the long term. And then I'm also going to put a few little dots of hot glue around it. And that hot glue gun, the hot glue is going to help to hold it in place short term. so that if I bump it or something, it's not going to fall apart on me. So I'm just trying to be very careful, and I'm just putting this on the very edge here. Now let's put the lid back on, because this stuff has a tendency to just ooze everywhere. I like the tiny little tubes better than these great big ones. So let's move this over here close to me. So I'm just going to put a few little dots. I don't want a whole lot. And then we got to work quickly with this so that it doesn't cool down, because it does start cooling down rather quickly once it hits glass. All right, let's get his little noggin in place. And now I know this is going to be difficult to see on camera, and I really do apologize for that. Let's see. Let's just get this in place. And I believe that's where I want it. Now, I wanted to give him a little scarf. And I'm looking at the hat here that I'm going to be using. And get off there. It's got some burlap on it. And I have some of this burlap looking ribbon. I don't want to use actual burlap because I didn't want it to fray too much. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully kind of measure around here. You know what? Let's just cut a big long piece of this ribbon. Now this is wired ribbon, and I don't really want that wire on there. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut that wire off, because I don't like it, and it's not going to let my scarf drape the way I want it to. So after I cut this wire off, I'm just going to wrap it around his neck, and I'm going to glue it in place. And then I have a few little decorations over here I think I want to stick on it. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I cut the wire edge off of that ribbon, and now what I did is I'm just kind of twisting it a little bit. I don't want it to be completely flat. I'm just twisting it a little bit, and then I'm just wrapping it around his little neck. And I'm sticking it in place with this hot glue. It's kind of hard to do on camera because I'm trying to hold several things in my hand. And yeah, this ribbon here is going to fray a little bit, but once I get everything glued into place, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to trim this off. I know they have some really thin burlap ribbon, and I did have some. But you know what? I have no clue where it is right now, so that's why I'm not using it. I'm just going to use the handle of this paintbrush here to kind of hold everything down. Then after I get this on, I'm going to just glue his little hat on top of his noggin. And I have some of these little berry looking things, a little sprig of those from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to cut just a few of those off and stick on here. I want that twisted some more. I'm really trying to get this like twisted. Like I said, I didn't really want it to be flat, so let's twist that around. That looks better. That looks better. Now let's aim it down a little bit. There we go. There we go. All right, so that is really starting to hold in place. And like I said, I'll go back and I kind of like that little bit of frayed look, but with the bigger burlap, you know, like the rolls of burlap from Walmart, it was too much. It was too much. It overwhelmed him. I sat there and played with it earlier because I got another one in the works over here on the shelf, and I sat there playing with it, and it was just overwhelming. So now let's trim these little boogers off. Why are you sticking out? There we go. Let me go through, and I might try to fray this edge a little bit more. That's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. So let's see, what was I going to glue on here? Those little red berry things right here. I have those, and I also have some little miniature pine cones over here, and I think I'm going to glue some of those on. I'm talking to myself as I go in case you don't notice. But I'm just going to put a little dot of hot glue here. Now some of these things, well, actually I've said many times, all these crafts, I have no clue where I'm going with it until I sit down and actually start messing with it. Let's hold that in place. And down here I have the little miniature pine cones, and I think I want to put one of those on here. I'm still waiting for my little silver scissors to be sent back from being sharpened. Y'all know how the mail is right now. The mail is absolutely crazy. So Things are being super extra slow right now. Alright, so these tiny little pine cones also came from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to stick him right there. And then I'm going to put some more of these red berries around it. And then I'm going to call that done after I put his hat on, of course. Okay, I might stick a little bit of greenery on there too. I don't know. But for his hat, I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue. I'm just going to put it around here. I'm going to try not to let it run all the way down the side. If it does, it's okay. This is glass and it'll peel off pretty easily. There we go. Let's see, I want this kind of in the front. I want that right there. Ooh, that is adorable. All right, I am pretty happy with it. And I can't really lean it back for y'all to see that because then all the stuff on the inside will shift to the back. But stick around after the video. I know you've already seen it at the beginning of the video, but stick around afterwards and you'll also be able to see it. I will put a photo. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this one. If you would, please give it a thumbs up. Click subscribe. Check me out on other forms of social media, the links to all of which will be in the description box down below. And I hope to see y'all next time. Bye!